a soft life for his woman.
There's a study that says when a man gets married to a woman, his life is longer.
Welcome to Date, Affirm, The Real, our live podcast talking about today's relationships and its effects on us all. Please welcome our hosts, Keya McClain, the poet, and Shimeka, the dog therapist. Let's get real.
Woo! And the crowd goes. What's up, y'all? I'm Keya McClain, the poet, who knows it. And that beauty over there.
Shimeka, the dog therapist. Hello, everybody. Hi, cousin.
That's my beautiful cousin over there, y'all. What? That's my beautiful cousin. What? And as you guys can see, we are both goofy.
Right.
We are both full of energy.
Yes.
And we're always ready to navigate these conversations, right?
Yes.
We're always ready to share our perspectives, our thoughts. Remember, there are thoughts, there are perspectives.
That's
Okay.
right.
So it's okay if you disagree.
That's right.
It's okay if you don't like what we said.
Thank
Just don't tell us because we don't care. Okay.
Just to tell us. We're like, oh, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
So, as always, thank you all for continuing to show up and support Date, Affirm, The Real. As you know, we talk about all things single, all things dating, all things marriage. And we really want to emphasize the healing part.
Yes.
Let us heal so that we can thrive in relationships, whether it is a relationship with ourselves or relationship with others.
Yes.
Okay. So, what we talking about tonight? Ooh, yeah.
What we talking about?
What we talking about tonight? Ooh, yeah. I need y'all to understand something. I'm running on very little sleep right now. So I'm getting goofier by the minute. I'm getting goofier by the minute. So beware.
Yay.
Watch this live at your own risk.
Right.
Because it's one of those nights. So we're talking about sleeping with grudges. How unhealed hearts hurts. My bad. Prevent healthy love.
Like same thing, unhealed hearts.
Same thing. Hurt heart.
Mm-hmm.
Your heart is hurt.
It's hurt. Yeah.
So, look, this is a conversation that I think is extremely important because sometimes we are in spaces where we're single and we may have been single for a long time, or we may keep having the same type of issues that show up in relationships, and we are frustrated and we're over it, or we give up, or we are the victim and blame others. Whatever side you're on with this, understanding that not healing is not going to solve the problem. Because what we do is we take those traumas, those pains, that unhealed version of ourselves, and we take it somewhere else.
Right.
So just because that relationship ended and now you move on doesn't mean that that block has been removed.
Right.
And when I say that block, I'm talking about the block of the pain, the block of the trauma, the block of the triggers that come up. Right. All of these blockages are going to potentially harm your relationship status, or it can. And one thing I forgot to do, y'all know if I don't do this, that me and my cousin will talk to y'all ass all night long.
all night long.
Y'all know we'll do this. Golly, nobody reminded me or anything. But yes, if we don't heal, if we don't do what's necessary, we're going to keep harming ourselves, right? And others, because you're going to hurt yourself as a result of not doing the work. And it's going to seem like this work is too hard. It's going to take too much time. But in the reality, you're going to waste a lot of time going from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship.
Right.
Because you don't want to take the time to heal, and you don't want to take the time to, deal with some of those things that keep coming up and bubbling for you. And so that could potentially be just as harmful for you in a relationship than it is for those that are single.
Yes.
There are people I've had conversations with that are single that, quite honestly, some of the people I've had discussions with, they complain about the same things. And I'm a person that investigates with questions, right? So I'm going to ask questions like, what role do you think you play in that?
Right.
Right. So I'm going to ask questions that are going to cause you to maybe pause and think about, your own behavior.
Right.
You start to focus on your own behavior. You start to focus on your own triggers and trauma. You start to focus on what you may have done wrong. Then now the focus is different. You are now working on yourself versus putting the blame and all of the responsibility on other
somebody
people.
else.
Because when you do that, it doesn't give you room to grow and heal.
Right.
You'll find yourself in the same place over and over and over again. So point being is that you can choose whatever you want. My cousin says this all the time. Choose whatever you want.
Yes.
You get to choose. And if you want to stay in that space longer, you're more than welcome to do that. Right?
Have fun.
We're not here to tell you how to choose and how to show up for yourself. We're just telling you there are different options.
Yep.
As a person that used to be a victim and blame other people, I'm just letting you know I had to choose something different because that shit was exhausting. It was exhausting. That's my truth. I was blaming people, and which led me to be the victim over and over and over again. And I got tired of hearing it. Like I don't know what that was. That was somebody trying to jump in our live from the other side. They got something to say. And I respect that side. So, hey, if you want to jump in for a minute, let us know you was here. All good. You are welcome.
Right.
You're welcome. So yeah, I think now I'm seeing this thing. I don't know if you've seen this, cousin. There is now a phenomenon of people talking about people that are healing in a negative way. And so here's my take. My take is this. If you don't want to heal, then move the hell on. For the people who are healing, for the people who are choosing to deal with their childhood traumas, who are choosing to deal with, themselves.
Right.
If that upsets you or it even triggers you, we suggest you go somewhere else. Because over here, we talk about healing. We talk about, and it wasn't anybody on Data from the Real. This is just this new social media
on social media.
Yeah. So it's like, it's been real interesting to see how people are reacting to all of the people who are now coming out and saying, I'm healing, I'm doing my healing work. People get irritated about everything now. So I am not shocked. In fact, I remember a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm waiting for them to be sick of the healing community. Like I'm waiting for that because they get irritated about everything.
I don't want your crystals. I don't want your
like
herbs,
they're so irritated. It's like, you po things.
No, right. And it's okay. Go ahead.
It's okay.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Because what did I say at the very beginning? We don't care.
Right.
We don't care.
And I'm not commenting on nobody's post about what they say,
Yeah. We don't care.
Yeah.
And you're right, Bree. Bree said that has to be a trigger. That's crazy. It is. It's a trigger because we're mirrors to people, right? And I get that. Like, I know that I'm a mirror to people. And so if me healing triggers you, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you see all these people on social media doing videos talking about healing and overcoming their struggles and dealing with their childhood trauma, and you're triggered by that, join us in therapy each week.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Get you a therapist. It's okay.
It's okay. Oh, you cute little water bottle. That's so cute.
They back. They want to get in this live so bad. It's my St. Mary's water bottle from B School.
Oh, that's cute.
Thank you. So how y'all doing tonight? Yeah, I'm upsetting them demons, cousin. I'm upsetting them demons. Not just me, all of the healing community.
Yeah.
But how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody good?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Let's do a check. Let's do a check-in with y'all. How y'all doing this evening?
Hello, everybody.
Before we delve a little bit more into this conversation. Like, I be feeling like sometimes, like, just pausing. How are you? Honestly. How you feeling, cousin?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling
good too. I'm sleepy as heck. But I had a good day. I got a lot of stuff done. I made some new connections.
Okay.
What else? Yeah, it was a good day.
I had to go to the ortho. They put some things in the top of my teeth, so I can't bite down all the way.
Oh.
So I won't pop off my brackets.
Oh.
And
so it hurt. Do it hurt?
It don't even hurt.
Okay.
It's just getting used to it, and I can't bite down, so I don't know how. I don't think they want me to eat. I think
they try to put you on a liquid diet. What is this?
I'm gonna have to ground some tacos in the blender and drink it.
Oh.
I don't know what liquid to put in with it. Maybe some.
Not liquid tacos.
Liquid tacos. Bree was like excited for this short week. I know, huh?
Yes, yeah. That's nice. Right?
Last week was weird though too. I was like,
Missy says she's good.
Hi, Missy.
Hey, Missy girl.
Hey.
So as we talk about this particular topic, just kind of think about a moment. Think about a moment where maybe you might have been in a relationship, and you brought some of your emotional stuff, and you remember the moment that it showed up. Think about that. Conversely, think about the time where you weren't so good to yourself. Because we always in relation with ourselves, right? Yeah. We always in relationship with ourselves. So what has that looked like for you?
Yeah.
And do you still feel like you have those moments? Do you feel like you're working on it? Do you feel like you have mastered it? Where are you in your journey? If you're willing to share. I think for me, of course, it's shown up in various relationships. I mean, I can name a few. I think one of the biggest things that stand out for me is I had a moment with my second ex-husband. I only got 2 ex-husbands, y'all. Okay, just 2. For the record, if y'all over there counting, I got 2 ex-husbands. My second ex-husband,
he said, "Keep it that way."
I don't know about you. um, my second ex-husband, like, I feel like when we got married, so we got married in March, and then in July is when my best friend and brother passed away.
Mm.
So very quickly after we got married, I had a lot of stuff hit me, right?
Yeah.
And so not only did I have that, but in January, February, just a month or two before my wedding, I sent my son to California to finish his senior year of high school with his dad, because he got in trouble with me. And so, again, 2013 was a lot. So that meant that it was going to impact my marriage. And I remember, so 2013, it really kind of turned into a very dark year for me in terms of my behavior, in terms of my emotions, in terms of things that were happening. 2013 was dark, which led to 2014 being a year of me being a victim, of me blaming, of me attacking, of me being angry, of me kind of going backwards, in terms of some of the work that I had done. It was like it hadn't even taken place really in 2014. And I remember one day, I had got upset with him. Can't tell you why, because I was drunk. And that's one of the main reasons why I really stopped drinking, is because if I drank too much, my behavior was just outlandish. It was pretty outrageous. Well, anyway, I remember he was driving and we were crossing the bridge in St. Charles, Missouri. And I was like, I'll take us over this bridge. And I turned the wheel. Like, I reached over and I like turned the wheel. And of course that scared the hell out of him, right? And I remember him like grabbing my hand so quick that it bent my thumb back. And every time I feel that pain in my thumb, I remember that moment.
Wow.
And it's quite often like I still can't bend my finger all the way back. And this happened back in 2013. So it's a constant reminder of the moment when I was in the depths of darkness, right? And I shared a real personal story. You don't have to go that personal with me, or with Shimeka, or with the Dar family. But I said that to say, like, in that moment, it felt pretty normal. So I say that to say there might be some behavior that feels pretty normal to you, and it doesn't mean it is. So I just wanted to share that because, sometimes, and I know, like, I don't deal with the shame in the way that I used to before, nor do I deal with the guilt the way that I used to before. It's my story. I own it. I'm not that person anymore. But it's important because I think that if I wanted to just talk about what I was enduring, I could do that. Well, my behavior was like that because of this.
Because of.
I did that because of that. And it would be me having this tunnel vision, which only surrounds the circumstances of my situation,
Right.
and not being able to see all of the other things that are going on outside of that.
Yeah.
And how my behavior and my pain and my stuff impacts other people around me, because
Right.
I just want to be in this space right here. Me. It's all about me. I'm the only one in pain. All of us experience pain. All of us experience disappointment. And when we take those things out on other people, it really has a impact on how we connect with people.
Yes.
That's my story. So don't look like y'all want to share no stories. Ain't
I know
nobody
I'm trying
sharing
to
no
think. I'm
story.
like,
They probably processing my story like this heifer.
I know. I was like, you was like, we all going out.
This heifer crazy. I
We
mean,
both going down.
yeah, that's the place I was in. For sure. Darkness.
Hmm.
And that's unhealthy, right? And I think like I know other women that come unhinged like that emotionally because we can't always handle our emotions because we weren't taught how to deal with things in a healthy way.
Emotionally.
So we react, whether you slash tires or you broke windows or you reached over and turned the steering wheel or like we have these emotional responses that came from somewhere,
Right.
right?
Right. Is this okay? Because what we were talking about, was this morning? It was this morning.
Uh-huh.
About, about how we have learned to deal with as a result of, just parenting, our parent, like we were talking about our parents and how their ability to not take responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? And when we were talking about that, I was remembering though, I remember one of my bosses said, "You never apologize to the people under you." She was teaching me to be a manager or something. I don't know what she was. Can't remember what it was, but she's like, "You don't apologize because then you look weak." And so I think about that, like, oh, that's interesting. Because then now that I go back because she was older. So I'm like, is that a concept of an older generation? Like, you don't apologize because then it makes you look weak.
Yeah.
I
think so.
Yeah.
I actually remember several conversations with my grandmother about that. Mm-hmm. Specifically when I graduated from college. Mm-hmm. I said to her, "Do you remember what you said to me when I got pregnant?" And she brushed me off.
Didn't want to address it.
She brushed me off. But what she said to me was, now I'm going to have a house full of babies and be on welfare.
Wow.
Do I believe my grandmother thought that about me? No. Do I believe that older Black people during that time said very harsh things to try to almost flip your mindset about
like if I say something mean, then it'll make them not do it.
So, and my grandmother, she was good for that, especially with me because she knew that worked with me, right? Because I was one of those people that was like, "No, I'm finna show your ass," right? So she knew what she was doing by doing that, but they're also they try to get in this live bad. I don't know
welcome,
if that's
ancestors. Welcome.
I don't know if that's my people's, your people's, both our people's, but they trying to get in this live bad. They like talk about it. Healing. We gonna heal. We gonna heal that stuff. Right. They giving us confirmation. Thank y'all for the confirmation. Thank you.
Yes.
Like, I'm just gonna practice gratitude right now for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's good. Thank you. But yeah, she never apologized. And I literally asked her for an apology. I said, "Are you going to apologize to me? You said some really mean things to me. Like you told your granddaughter that because she got pregnant at 18, like that was the end of the world, right?
Right. First of all, yeah.
Like, first of all, that was not the end of the world. I graduated high school, right? It was August. I had graduated in May. It was August when I found out I was pregnant. So let's be clear. I wasn't like this little kid who was still in school no, I was still young, but I was out of high school at this time. And you telling me that I'm going to have a house full of babies and be on welfare
Wow.
is, was hurtful. So when I graduated and got my first degree, I said to her, "Are you going to apologize to me?" And she was like, "No, because you were supposed to go to law school. You just got an associate's degree." So I went back, and when I enrolled the second time, I enrolled to get my bachelor's and then immediately afterwards get my master's degree. And I asked her again, "Are you going to apologize to me? I have 3 college degrees." She was like, "Apologize for what?"
Wow.
And so, like, it is something that can carry
But
over
yeah, I
because
don't remember my grandmother ever apologizing for anything, and she be saying some. Now she's saying more crazy stuff, but
yeah,
get older,
they say crazy stuff.
They
Like, they
do.
say the craziest stuff. And then they feel like it's okay to say these things, right?
because
But
they
as a
adults,
result of you saying these things, what happens is I'm internalizing it,
right?
right? Not realizing that I'm internalizing it.
Right.
And now subconsciously, I'm behaving a certain way and conducting myself a certain way, having certain conversations with people, doing certain
Right.
things. That's just one aspect of something that she said to me. That's not even the sum total of all of the things that I was exposed to, that I heard, that I personally experienced. So you're taking a person that has come in with, I tell people sometimes, think of me as blocks of a sidewalk. And some parts of the sidewalk are good. And some parts of the sidewalk got all kind of cracks in it. And so that's how you could see me, even though I'm always talking about, and I tell people, even this phenomenon that's going on now, all these people talking about healing, don't take years to heal. Well, again, I am a sidewalk of concrete who has cracks, and then it's straight, like it's some good straight concrete there, and it's a crack, crack, crack. And I can't repair it all, but I can try to work on each unique crack that I have, because all of these experiences, they're shaping us. This crack here, that crack there, this crack going that way. And all of these things point and lead to something. And it not only impacts us, again, it impacts the relationships that we have with people, and we don't realize it. And you and I keep discovering parts of ourselves that still needs healing.
And
we
might
just
be
discussed it today.
And triggers
about our parents. About
our
our parents. Like, and the communication style, and them not holding themselves accountable, them not, apologizing, them doing things to us and feeling like they still have the right to do certain things to us at 50 damn years old. They still feel entitled to do certain things to us at 50. And so and I literally told my mom, I'm like, I keep doing work and you keep pushing me backwards. Because what ends up happening is, as much as I try to control, for me, the objective is not to control my emotions. The objective is to maintain a healthy emotion state, right? I don't suppress shit. I'm gonna tell you how I feel. I ain't holding back nothing, because that helps you, not me.
Right.
I don't do that shit no more, because that's people pleasing.
Right.
So if I bring all of my stuff to somebody and I lay it at their feet and dump it all on them, they're gonna be going to the nut house.
Right.
Because it's a lot, and you have to unpack all of these different compartments of yourself. And so that's why I say it's a lifetime thing.
And even too, like, because again, even as we live, right, there's different traumas that show up even as we continue to live. Yes, our parents start off at the beginning, right? I'm like, our parents are at the beginning, right? Is our parents, because they only know what they know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as we go through life, we have different situations in which we experience trauma,
Yeah.
with relationships, with things happen as we get older. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and holding on to that, and not releasing that. But, and so as you're doing the work, like you'll be like, okay, I dealt with this. Okay. Whew, okay. But then something will come up and you'll be like, ooh, whoa, I didn't know that was,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, let me go on and work on that. Then something else, because you still living, because you
Yeah.
ain't stopped living, and life ain't stopped. You're not frozen in time. So
Mm-hmm.
we keep on going. And you're like, that respond. I responded
Yep.
crazy to that one. Let me,
Yeah.
you know,
And it's
man.
that part, what you just said, makes me think about something that I said recently, which is what I try to do is take the trigger,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like, okay, catch the trigger and then pause for a moment,
Right.
right? And be
What's
like,
this? What
what's
just
going
happened?
on?
Right.
Why am I
Yes.
triggered by this? What's
Mm-hmm.
happening? Is this about me or is this about them?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because then I have to figure out, am I going to internalize this or am I going to say, no, return to sender?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not my shit.
Hmm.
I'm throwing it. This is an alley oop
Who does that
back at
belong to?
you.
That
This
ain't
is your
mine.
energy. This
Yeah.
is your stuff.
Right. Because
And I'm not going to
yeah.
take it on.
Yeah.
Or will I internalize it? Right. And where I know the work needs to be done is when I internalize it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I make something about me that's not about me. And so I'm gentle with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving myself grace and I'm saying, you know what, Keya, you have feelings. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Process those feelings. Give yourself permission to process that. But
Mm-hmm.
don't internalize nobody else shit
Nope. I'm
because
not
that's
taking on
not
yours.
yours.
Yes.
That's not yours.
Yes.
And when you internalize it, it doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't
Right.
help you. So you have to take, you know, every time that happens for me, it's like, okay, when this shows up, Keya, immediately take
Hmm.
that pause
Yep.
and figure out, where am I going to put this emotion?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to place it back where it belongs or am I going to internalize it?
Right.
And if I internalize it, then I have to deal with somebody else's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to process all of that in addition to whatever triggered me to respond that way to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we keep figuring it out, if we take that pause, it's almost like, oh, okay, now I see where the root of this is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So the root of it is, oh, this ain't mine.
Mm-hmm.
Let me throw that on back over there. But when we
Mm-hmm.
don't take that time, that's when it can get ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because you're
Escalates. Yep.
feeding into that person's energy
Mm-hmm.
and their ugliness or whatever. And that's how things can escalate very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And we think that we're fine.
Right.
There's been a lot of things I felt like I was fine. Oh, I'm good. I done recovered from that. Shit, that ain't no problem for me.
Mm-mm.
And then when it hits again, I'm like,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
girl, you still dealing with
You
this.
still dealing with that? Yep.
I thought I was healed from that.
Hmm.
That keeps showing up. You know, um, Marcus said, triggers shoot bullets. Problem is, don't know how to aim. I'm hurting
Mm.
me or someone else.
Mm.
That's good there.
That was good. Yeah. For
Yeah.
real.
It's
Yep.
that's really
That
that's
was
really a
good.
great way to put it.
Yeah.
Because you're not the objective is not really to, it's almost like, you pick up a gun, right? And you're like, oh, this gun ain't loaded.
Mm.
I'm just gonna, I'm practicing shooting,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't realize, no, the gun was loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I said something and it was loaded.
Mm-hmm.
I said something I can't take back. And when you say things you can't take back, what does a bullet do? it shatters. You know, it can kill. It can severely hurt. So that's a great analogy to use with that, because we don't realize how
our traumas, our pain,
our traumas end up hurting somebody else, and they didn't have anything to do with it. And then what happens to that person who keeps getting injured from your trauma? They already got their own traumas. Now they got their traumas, your stuff that you've dumped on them. And now this relationship isn't going to work because of the trauma dumping. Now you leave the relationship and you go somewhere else, and you haven't done the work.
And you still get in the same situation.
You can get a person that look different, got a different background, work different ethics, morals. It ain't gonna matter.
Yeah.
It's not gonna matter. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot every time, because you're not doing the work. And again, even like what I told my mom, because I've done this work, and then sometimes you do certain things and it sets me back, that becomes problematic for me.
Right.
Because what ends up happening is now I feel that I have to again go over, okay, this is why this is a boundary for me. This is why this is important to me. This is why I don't want you to do this or say this. And it's almost like at the end of it, you end up feeling like, well, that was all pointless because you didn't hear anything I said.
Yep.
Because you're in a space of non-accountability.
Yep. There it is. Yeah.
You know, you're in a space of non-accountability. And to deal with people who are in spaces of non-accountability, that is draining to your entire soul. It is draining to your entire soul.
Because you keep trying to prove. You keep trying to prove to them.
You keep trying to prove to them. Over and over and over and over again. And it's like, wait a minute now.
I'm done. I'm tired.
I'm done. I'm tired.
Right. I'm tired.
That's draining. It literally takes it's like pulling all your blood out your body, because it's like, I'm fighting a war that I am not going to win.
And I be forgetting. That I'm doing that in the middle of it. I'll be like, no, but you're not hearing me. No, but you're not hearing me. But you're not. Oh, shoot. You don't want to hear me. God, I'll be like.
That part. But you don't want to hear me.
But you don't want to hear me.
And then you're just like, forget it. Right? Then this is where other people will get you, because they'll become the victim to you being protective.
Yeah.
I'm going to protect myself. I'm going to protect my peace. I'm going to protect where I am.
Right.
And so now that means you get less of me until you don't get me at all. And then you're going to be the victim about me choosing myself.
Right.
But if I continue to deal with that, then that means I don't care enough about myself. You know, and again, if we don't do this work, and you don't have to. Remember, you can keep doing whatever it is you want to do.
If it works for you.
But if we don't do the work, we are going to continue to damage ourselves and other people.
And it's going to be a pattern. And then your kids are watching. So, because that's how we learn, right? We watch. Remember when your parents said, don't do what I do, don't do what I do what I say?
Yep.
That's not how it works.
That's not how that works.
I'm watching exactly what you're doing. This is how I learn. I observe as a child. I observe behaviors, and then I reflect them. Right?
Because why would I do what you say and you doing this?
Doing something different, right?
That don't even make sense.
That don't even make sense.
I think I'm gonna do what you doing.
Yeah.
And see how that work out. And in the reality, how many of us have said, I ain't gonna be like my mama. I ain't gonna be like my daddy. I ain't gonna be like them. I ain't gonna raise my kids like that. And some people go to the exact opposite extreme, right?
or they do exactly what their parents did, because
Yeah.
if the focus is I'm not gonna be like them, right? So if you're thinking I'm not gonna be like them, I'm not gonna be like them, what's your focus? Whatever that behavior was. But what if you say, you know, with my kids, I'm gonna listen more. You know, my kids, I'm going to be more I'm going to be a better listener than I am going to tell them things. I'm going to teach them how, right? So now my focus is on what I'm going to do to make the difference, right? Not just I'm not going to be like my parents, because if you like if you don't have no opposite, if you don't have no, what's the word, like if you don't have no solution
Yeah.
to what your parents did, then you're going to do exactly what they did. But if you come up with a solution, say, okay, instead of whooping them, I am going to talk to them more. I'm going to allow them to express themselves, express their emotions. I'm going to give them a safe space to do so. You know?
Yeah. And so that part is good, because being able to identify, right? Like you said, being able to identify what you're going to do versus what you're not going to do.
Exactly.
Because your energy and concentration is going to go on that very thing.
Right.
So you ultimately
focus on what you're not going to do.
Yeah.
Right.
You focus
Your
on
focus
that.
is only on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and
that's
usually
good.
Like come in, because I have, you know, sometimes clients come in, they're like, I didn't want to be like my mother, but I'm like, but what do you want to do instead? I don't know. I just didn't want to be like her. But what does that mean?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it really is redirecting the focus, you know, and the energy towards what you want. And I think that kind of applies to a lot of things in life, right?
Yes.
If I don't want something, it's almost like that question. This is the first thing that popped in my head. I remember years ago, somebody said, "What do you want in a relationship?" And I started off and said, "Well, I don't want right?" Same thing with I'm not going to be this kind of parent, and I don't want to do this to my kids. That person asked me a question, but they bless you.
Thank you.
But they called me out, because, you know, if they hadn't said anything, it wouldn't have been brought to my awareness. And I couldn't imagine how many times I had said that before.
Right.
So they said to me, "Ooh, bless you.
Thank you."
They said, "So I asked you what kind of relationship you wanted, what you were looking for in a man, and you just ran down 20 things you don't want."
Focus on that.
So why do you think you keep getting what you don't want? I was like,
right.
Now that's just rude. You're rude. Okay. Nobody asked you anything and you stink. Like, I was mad. Like, what? You just called me out like that. But it's true. How many times have you answered a question and said what you don't want when that wasn't even the question?
I remember when I was having issues with sex, when I was like, I gotta stop having sex. I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna go to hell. And I was like, I'm not gonna have sex. I'm not gonna have sex. Guess what I was thinking about? Everything. I'm not gonna have sex. Ooh, sex.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have sex. Ooh, sex.
Yeah. Ooh, sex.
Ooh, sex. I need some penis now. And then it was interesting because when it became a choice, when there was no judgment tied to it, then I didn't even want it as much. I'd be like, I didn't need, like, it wasn't like this need. I need it.
Yeah.
It was just, do I want some? I'm okay.
Because the focus shifts.
The focus shifted.
The focus shifts.
Yes. And
we don't realize that, you know, how prevalent that can be in terms of our decision making. How prevalent that can be into what shows up for us, right? So then that's when we make these blanket statements that show up as unhealed versions of ourselves by saying, all men are dogs.
Yeah.
All women are this.
Yep.
We make those kinds of statements because we've committed to the
that
thing
point, yep.
that is the opposite
Right.
of what we want. So because we commit to that thing, that puts us in a space of vulnerability, if you will,
Right.
being exposed to the very thing
Right.
that we don't desire.
Right.
And so now you continue to go down these rabbit holes of being unfulfilled, which causes you to blame, which causes you to become a victim, which causes you to start to feel sorry for yourself.
Right.
And all of those things do not put you in an energetic space
Right.
of a person even wanting to approach you,
Right.
of a person even wanting to connect with you, because those pains, those traumas, all of those things that you haven't dealt with is walking with you, you know. And there's this thing, Erykah Badu said it a long time ago, bag lady. Okay.
Bag lady.
Erykah Badu said it
back.
long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
The things you carry, you literally think you are hiding them in compartments. You're not a kangaroo.
Okay.
That shit is not in them pouches. It is really on full display.
Right.
And so we think, oh, I'm hiding these things. I'm hiding these things.
Right.
You know, and when I say we, I mean we.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there have been times where I'm like, they ain't gonna be able to see that, because I got it together on this area. Look, the slip will show.
Right.
It will show. That slip will show. And the thing is, though, if you're aligning with somebody else whose slip is showing, y'all don't want to hear the rest, do y'all?
Right.
Y'all don't want to hear the rest. Y'all don't want to hear the rest. Y'all ain't talking to me tonight, no way. You don't want to hear the rest. What happened when somebody who slip showing link up with somebody else who slip showing? It don't make a dress, I can tell you that.
It don't make a dress.
It don't make a dress. It's a whole lot of lace showing.
I remember slips. I want to slip now. Go to bed and slip.
Man, we threw away 2 drawers of slips when my granny passed away. I was like, look at all these damn slips.
I want to slip now. I want to put a slip under
And
the
they
dress.
probably don't even sell slips no more.
I'm going to look.
Look it up. Do they still sell slips, y'all?
Still sell slips. This slip showing, baby.
Well, I mean, we couldn't walk out there. You ain't got no slip on underneath that dress.
No stockings, no slip.
Oh, I got to put all this extra hot shit on.
Why? It's hot.
Why? Now that's a trigger. That's a trigger. You see how I'm acting? Because I had to wear slips and stockings and sit at a pressing comb and get my hair hot pressed.
Ear burnt.
Traumas. See, they coming out. I'm crazy, y'all.
I remember when I was going to church with my grandmother and I wanted to wear these shoes with heels. There were some cute shoes, some cute blue shoes, and they had a heel on it. And I just wanted to be so grown and wear them heels, and I did. But I was like, because my grandmother let me. My mom was saying no. She's like, no, you can't put no heels on. And I did, and I was like, yep, and I was okay afterwards. I didn't need to wear the heels again. Didn't even know how to walk in them.
Just wanted to do so.
With stockings.
With stockings. With big ass stockings on. Damn, stockings was hot.
green grease and hot combs.
Ooh, I do not miss that.
Sizzling.
That was a trigger for me. And so I remember, like, in my second book, I wrote about wanting to wear my Afro puffs and telling my mom, like, look here, let me tell you something. What we need to do is settle on the fact that I have Jesus-like wool hair, right? You know how they was describing it.
But yours is softer, right?
No, it is not. Touch it and see what happens. See,
I got 5. I got 4C. I got 4C.
Get a cut. I mean, let me go get a Band-Aid. I touched it. Look, this stuff is coarse. And so I kind of had landed on accepting that as a kid. I was like, what? It's all good. Dark and Lovely is not a fan of my hair. None of that stuff is working. Just for me was not just for me. Okay.
Broke off all my hair.
You put that stuff in my hair. My sister hair, it would get bone straight. I was on her would be straight. My hair, no. Can't you tell that's still a trigger for me? I told her, stop putting that shit in my head. Put me 2 big old Afro puffs
There to go.
and let me rock it. Okay? Get you a good brush. Put that bergamot. Line them edges up.
Bergamot.
Because we ain't had no gel back then. I know good gel.
Grease. It was
Get
grease.
that bergamot. Put some water on that brush. Wait a minute. She used to have a cup.
Water.
She used to have a cup sitting next
to
the table. She'd dump that brush in there. She had that bergamot on the side. And
it held?
No, it didn't hold. It didn't
I
hold.
was about to say, because mine would beat up. Mine just
it didn't hold.
Water.
But I was okay with that.
I had a pressing comb, and you can't put water on this stuff.
Oh, well, see, this is when it wasn't no pressing comb on it. This was like maybe after I got out the swimming pool or something like that.
Right.
Yes, babe, my scalp is very oiled now. I appreciate your love to my scalp.
I used to, oh my gosh, I used to hate my hair, and I'm tell you one reason why. Billy Ruth. Did I tell you all about Billy Ruth? I know I didn't brought up Billy Ruth before.
No,
I was in love with Billy Ruth in Arkansas. Billy Ruth looked like what's his name from breakdancing. Ain't no stopping us. She used to breakdance on the cardboard. But Billy Ruth was mixed with black and white. So when Billy Ruth went swimming, his hair didn't shrivel up like mine and come like this. His glistened and laid across his back. I was so ashamed of my hair because he come out and he'd be like, and he's like dripping. Mine come out and he'd be like, have you ever seen that meme? Not a meme, but where the lady was like, she was with her white husband, she getting the water with her natural hair, and then he looked back and he was like, every time he looked back,
whole different look.
That was me.
Whole different look.
That was me.
Man. Okay, so as y'all see, we still got triggers about our hair, right? Now, well, not so much triggers. That's why I just said, lock it up. Lock it up, baby. I'm going to let it do what it do. My hair is meant to do this. Right. This is why locks was created, for this kind of hair. Okay? Because this is Kunta Kinte.
Girl, the kitchen in the back. Ooh, my dad just shaved the back because it just not. It don't want to grow.
He said only in Arkansas you can have a name like Billy Ruth.
Billy Ruth. I was in love with Billy Ruth. Billy Ruth ain't no stopping. He get the car burnt out, girl. Like, Billy.
Billy Ruth, though.
Billy Ruth, if you're out there, I was looking for you, Billy. You might be William now.
He probably William with his long good hair.
With his long good hair.
You know how they used to say back in the day, good hair.
Billy Ruth.
And that was another thing that messed us up, right? That good hair, bad hair thing. You know, it's like,
Turbo. He looked, Turbo and Ozone. That was breaking. Okay, sorry. Yep, good and bad hair, yes.
Yeah, that was another challenge we had to deal with.
Junior Lily said, "So glow."
That's
remember
so
that?
glow. That's so glow. Damn curls. Look here, y'all.
Okay, yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. The pain, the different experiences we've had, the trauma we've experienced, even if you don't want to say it's trauma, right? Even if you don't want to say whatever, you know, sometimes we deny certain words because that's even a trigger. Right. But the point is, if you find yourself in the certain types of scenarios repeatedly,
Mhm.
sit with that
Yeah.
and see how you can work through that stuff and come out on the other side a little bit healthier.
Right.
We will never, I don't believe we will ever fully get back to where we were when we got here
Right.
as babies, right?
Right.
We came here as innocent babies who didn't know anything, who were taught things, who were shown things, who were exposed to things, which essentially shaped who we are as adults.
Mm.
But we get to unlearn things. We get to unlearn things that do not serve us. We
Yeah.
get to unlearn things that don't help us. We get to unlearn things that hurt us.
Yes.
And if sometimes we the person hurting us. Most of the time it was me hurting me, I can tell you that. It was less times other people hurt me than it was me hurting me, was way more.
Right.
And that was due to me not understanding how to implement boundaries, how to
Man.
one of the biggest things was trusting other people over myself.
Man.
Even though intuition told
Man.
me, leave them alone.
Alone.
Leave them
Why
alone.
I keep wanting them to be my friend?
But wanting to see the good in people is actually a trauma response. It is a trauma response to try to see the good in people. That comes
poor
from
boundaries.
Yes, that comes from no boundaries. That comes from wanting to be liked and accepted. That comes from, kind of being pushed away from maybe your own parents and people that are in your family. So you are trying to just attach to people for the wrong reasons.
Right.
Rather than see them for who they truly are and believe yourself, because your body
and what
is
they
telling
showed
you. Your body telling you.
Man.
They're showing you. You see it, you feel it, but you choose to ignore it. That is a trauma response all day long. And it's going to impact the type of people you end up in relationships with, the type of connections you're making with people, because you are trusting them over your gut.
Over your own self. My Keisha said, true, it takes a lot of work, but in the end, it will be worth it. She also says, I'm still learning how to establish boundaries. Sometimes having poor boundaries comes from sometimes being molested. Because they crossed your boundaries. And so now you don't have no boundaries.
Another thing that comes from having poor boundaries is not having the freedom to choose things. So not just abuse, but also, like, for me, I didn't have boundaries because I was always told that I'm a kid. I don't have thoughts. I didn't have boundaries because I was told, it doesn't matter what you say or think. I'm your mama, and this is what it is, right?
Right.
All of those things really kind of encapsulate
and that's why we
you
couldn't even
in a
advocate
space.
for ourselves.
Yeah.
We can advocate for ourselves. How are we going to learn how to advocate for ourselves if you're teaching us that those in authority have power over me?
Yeah. So you don't speak. So you go to jobs, right? And you're working at a job, and these people are talking to you crazy. They're treating you like crap. And then you don't implement any boundaries because that's what you were taught. The whole while they're thinking, I'm telling you, you don't get to ask me questions. You the child, stay in the child place. Your feelings don't matter. All of this kind of stuff. It puts you in a space where you don't voice your concerns.
Man,
you don't put up walls to say, stay over there. I'm over here.
And that's how we let so many people, friends in when because we wanted that validation.
Yeah.
We wanted the validation because our parents didn't give us the validation. They didn't teach us how to advocate for ourselves. They didn't teach us that we were valuable.
Yep.
Dang.
I tell people often, like, that's probably one of the big things that happened to me, which led me to a lot of poor connections with people because I had no boundaries and I connected with just about everybody because it was like, oh, this person is going to listen to me.
They like me.
That person going to listen to me,
right?
And some people, they want to know your business so they can go tell your business. And, they're they're not really, they don't know how to become friends. They don't know how to be friends. They don't know how to be trustworthy. So what you end up doing is you say, I can't trust people, right? So now you got all these extra walls up in places because I can't trust people. I can't trust people. But no, you can't trust yourself because you chose bad. You just let anybody in. You didn't vet them properly. You didn't trust your own instinctual, feelings. And it's because we were so pushed down. We were so pushed down. When I say we, I'm a Gen Xer. Our parents raised us a very specific type of way, for the most part. I don't know that everybody's experiences was the same, but I do know that one of the main things I dealt with was not being able to vocalize my feelings and my thoughts. Which that's why I became a writer. I tell people writing was my refuge because I couldn't say shit in the house. My thoughts and feelings didn't matter.
Did not matter.
So I wrote. That's why I'm a writer. Yeah. Markeisha said, my weakness is expecting better from others. And that expectation is going to have you in this loop.
Because again, here's the thing. Like, we have these false expectations of people, but they showing us this.
Yeah.
Right. You better check. You better look what they doing.
But let's define an expectation before we close this out. Let's define what is an expectation?
Expecting somebody to be something that they not.
But also
or being something that you want them to be.
Yes. But it's not, it's a thing where it's not communicated. That's a big thing too. It's something that's not communicated to people. It just becomes your thing that you desire,
internal, that you want,
because you want that,
and you put it on them.
So you are projecting something onto a person, but you're not communicating it. So this causes you to be angry and upset and feel some kind of way. And see, this is why I tell people all the time, I don't hold shit. I'm gonna tell you how I feel in real time, like, because if I don't do that, what ends up happening is that, because I used to do that. I would have expectations like that. And what was happening is I kept getting frustrated. I kept getting frustrated. And I'm like, so is this my fault or their fault? It's my fault. Now, here's what happens. I communicate to you. Hello, cousin. I would like for you to do X, Y, Z. That's really important to me. Now, is it manageable for you? Is it logical for you? Is it affordable for you? Does it, is it something that you have the time for? Is it realistic, right? I have to also consider that as I relay that message to you. Now, from there, I have to make a decision. If you continue to not show up for me in whatever way I've communicated to you,
I need to make a decision.
Now I am entitled to then make a judgment and a decision.
Right.
But I don't get to have stuff in my head that other people don't know about, because that's unfair to them.
Right.
So if that's what you're doing, Keisha, consider kind of trying to deal with that part of the expectation. And I had to deal with that through therapy, just to be honest with you. That's something I had to do in therapy, because I would say, that's exactly what I would say. I'd be expecting people to do this because I do it. And my therapist kept saying, that's not logical, Keya. You can't expect people to do something because you would do it, because you do things the way you do it. That's how you think. That's how you see it. That's how you move. Other people don't move based off of how you move. They move based off what you accept. If I accept this, they're going to move in that
Keep
way.
on doing it. Yep.
If I communicate to them, hey, so going forward, I don't accept that anymore.
Right. It's not okay. They be like, and they be mad too when you tell them.
They be mad. Like, that is your sign. That is your sign, though. Now, if you ignore that sign, like we tend to do, that's going to be on you. But the sign is when people get mad, and I've had about 98% of people get mad.
Hmm.
When I set
This
them
this
boundaries.
is not okay now. Yes.
When I set them boundaries, especially if it's somebody who's been consistently doing what they've been doing because I allowed it.
They're like, why you changing stuff
implement,
up? Why you changing stuff up?
The moment I implement my boundary and I see people pull back from me or start acting funny towards me or rally around people who don't like me so that they can not like me too. Once I see that, I'm like, oh, you've been about this life.
Right.
You've been about this life. Bye.
Right. Right.
She said, yes, I'm dealing with it now in therapy because I struggle with it, even after voicing it. Yes. So that's where you have
to make a decision.
You have the ability to make a decision, you know? And people.
I was going to say, Marcus said, expectation, a strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Then he said again, it's a strong belief, not a strong fact.
It's a strong, but that was one of the hardest things for me to deal with because I was like, well, how come you ain't nice like me? How come you don't show up like I show up for you? How come you don't do this for me? I show up to all your stuff.
Man.
I buy you stuff. I answer the phone when you call. Yeah. You don't give me none of that back. You know, but at the end of the day, this is where we have to be accountable for ourselves and what we allow in our space. You know, I can't allow people to come and disrupt the peace I have now, the work that I've done. Yeah. You don't get to disrupt that. If my boundary is offensive to you, chop.
He's gone.
You don't need those people. You don't need those people. Let them look. Mel Robbins has a book. It's called Let Them. I don't know if y'all know who Mel Robbins is. It's a great book. I haven't read all of it. I've been listening to the audio that a friend of mine sent. But Let Them, I love that book. It is a perfect depiction of letting people be who they are while you go ahead and be who you are.
Yes.
And that might mean peace, deuces to some folks.
Man.
But guess what? You came in this world by yourself. And I'm going to end it there.
Thank you.
Shimeka gonna close us out.
I know I got a client. I gotta see a client still. Okay, all right, you guys. Deep breath in. Out, deep breath out. Nope, deep breath out. Deep breath. No, breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, let's do it again. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Thank you guys for showing up, not just for us, but for yourself. Thank you guys for going through this journey with us. And we just thank you. And we all say that all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory. And let's do that again and say comes to me. All of life comes to me.
Comes to me.
With ease.
With ease.
And joy.
And joy.
And glory.
And glory.
How does it get any better than that?
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys so much. We love y'all. Next Tuesday, guess who's up? Junior, Lily, and Marcus. Boom. See y'all next Tuesday. Peace.
See you.
Seeing eyes of mine, you see, there are no trees inside of me.